Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba presents to the world an example of universal love and truth. He stands forth as a beacon for a new age, instilling in all qualities of compassion, charity, service, and righteousness. He personally feeds, clothes, and houses the poor and underprivileged, inspiring a national and international effort to serve mankind. Because of his leadership, hundreds of thousands of devotees throughout the world engage themselves in programs designed to uplift humanity. These programs are carried forth without fundraising campaigns, but require the participants contribute their time and energies directly. The poor and underprivileged receive food, clothing, medical supplies, and housing. Cattle and farming equipment are supplied. Sanitary conditions are improved, and new wells dug to improve the quality of life for villagers. Satya Sai Baba says, "Hands that serve are holier than lips that pray." His leadership in education is renovating modern teaching methods. His program of education in human values is sweeping India and gaining acceptance in other nations. This program integrates scholarship and morality. He has established colleges and a university, as well as schools of various levels throughout India. Satya Sai Baba says the future of India and the world is tied to a renaissance in education. By his examples and teachings, he instills hope, faith, and belief in God. He constantly speaks of the unity of life and that there is only one God, and he is omnipresent. His life is his message. His message is his life. His life is an offering of love, and his message is one of truth.
The followers of each religion call upon one God who is omnipresent to listen to their prayers, be they from any race or whatever language they speak. But it is the same God who confers happiness upon all mankind. The external rites and ceremonies laid down in each religion vary according to climate, geography, time, race, etc. However, the basic lesson each religion teaches is to suppress the assertive ego and to surrender to the sovereign will of God. The Lord is in you, and it is He that has prompted you to project Him into the outer world as this idol or that image to listen to your outpouring and give you peace. Without the inspiration, solace, and joy He confers from within, you would be raving mad. The picture placed before you, the flowers you place before it, the hymns you recite, the vows you impose on yourself, these are activities that cleanse and remove obstacles in the way of you becoming aware of the God within. I do not appreciate in the least distinctions between various appearances of God. I do not proclaim that this is important or the other is less important. Continue your worship of your chosen God along the lines already familiar to you. There is no need to change your chosen God and adopt a new one when you have seen me and heard me. Believe that all hearts are motivated by the one and only God, that all faiths glorify the one and only God, that all names and all languages and all forms man can conceive denote the one and only God. God does not exist separately for any particular nation. He exists for all individuals and all nations. He shows no partiality for any. All are my people, and I belong to all of you. Sweets are many, but sugar is one. Stars are many, but sky is one. Jewels are many, but gold is one. Bodies are many, but spirit is one. All are therefore children of God. The brotherhood of man, under the fatherhood of God, is the spiritual path you must follow.
I never knew what it was like, except for being all alone. I never knew what it was like to have someone to call my own. I never knew that you could turn my life around, put a smile where there once was a frown. I never knew that it could be this way. I never dreamed I'd really find you someday. I never knew it seemed too good to be true. I never knew. I never knew what it was like to have someone who really cares. I never knew what it was like to have someone who's always there. Out of the darkness, I finally saw the light. A love so real, and it's shining so bright. I never knew that it could be this way. I never dreamed I'd really find you someday. I never knew it seemed too good to be true. I never knew. Love could be so true. No, I never knew. Then I found you.
Man's natural state is happiness, and he cannot be blamed for craving that which is his own. But man is making a serious mistake. He believes that the happiness for which he seeks comes from objects which he can experience. What is the remedy? The remedy is to consider the truth that there is only one everlasting, never-failing happiness, and that is God. To drink of that ever-flowing spring of happiness, you must turn to yourself, to the divine, which, however obscured, is the resident of your heart, the subtle truth of your being. Man has been engaged in exploring the infinite secret of nature in this marvelous creation in all possible ways. But because of the vagaries of the mind, intellect, and ego, man has failed to understand the true eternal spiritual basis underlying everything in the universe, and has locked himself in the pursuit of the external, phenomenal world as if it were the only reality. In the process, he has failed to realize his own true nature and has totally perverted his mind. Lost is a simple truth that everything is permeated by God, and that the Lord dwells in the hearts of each one of us. Mankind is the combination of the divine and the physical, thus explaining the human predicament. The body indulges in all actions, good and bad, but man is forgetting the sacredness and divinity of human life. Man is not able to differentiate between what is real and what is unreal, and is subjecting himself to endless suffering. In fact, the reason for all this suffering and misery man is facing today is because he is forgetting God and resorting to activities based on the physical body. Man is forgetting the very fact that he is the very embodiment of love. The ultimate goal for everyone is the same, and it is only one. The aim of all spiritual disciplines is the same, and one alone. All the paths laid down by different religions lead to the same goal. Paths may be different, but the goal is one. Whether it is the path of action, the path of devotion, or the path of wisdom, the goal is the same. The physical body is the instrument for all action. Also, the body enjoys or suffers the fruits of all action. One has to recognize the God in all. He should recognize the indwelling spirit in his body, and should also realize the same spirit dwells in every being. Only by such understanding that the divine is omnipresent will man do no harm to anyone, and will always love others and be helpful to everyone. Whomsoever you hurt God. Whomsoever you honor, you are honoring God.
beyond my control. Open my heart to your love. I open my heart to your love. Narayan, Narayan, Pachamana Narayan.
Sai Baba teaches, you must understand how the mind functions. The body is the vesture which the mind has assumed for its functioning and growth. The thoughts and experiences of many previous lives are imprinted on the mind. When the mind is filled with good thoughts, there is nothing beyond its reach. Thoughts give rise to action. Actions produce habits. Habits mold one's character, and character decides one's destiny, for good or ill. Hence, thoughts are the basis for one's misfortune or enjoyment of life. It is not the world that binds man. It has neither eyes to see or hands to hold. Man is a prisoner of his own thoughts and desires. In his attachment to the ephemeral and the perishable, man forgets his innate divinity and does not realize that everything in the universe has come from the divine and cannot exist without the power of the divine. The mind is the cause of man's bondage as well as liberation. If you put a key into a lock and turn it one way, the lock opens, and if you turn it the other way, it closes. It is the same lock and key. The turning makes the difference. The heart is like the lock, the mind like the key. If you turn the mind toward the world, you have attachment and bondage. Turn it toward God and you experience liberation. Your minds are continuously absorbed in worldly matters. Because of this, you create bondage and lose your peace. Without the complete transformation of the mind, you can never achieve peace. One has therefore to raise consciousness beyond the mind to achieve self-realization. To gain the infinite universal spirit, the embodied self must break out of the puny, finite little prison of individuality. Desire belongs to the senses, the brain, the mind. Once you become free of it, you will realize the self, spirit, consciousness, enlightenment, and become one with the cosmic power. Self-realization is God-realization. Therefore, man reaches God.
Shri Hare Madhava Narayan, Bhajamana Narayan. Shri Hare Madhava Narayan, Bhajamana Narayan. Murli Sham, Mohana Sham, Murli Mohana Sham.
human mind will take you everywhere except to God. What is the reason for this? It is because the mind is full of thoughts, good and bad. Only when you have controlled your thoughts will you be in a fit condition to reach God. The nature of the mind is to think continuously and always. If the mind is occupied with other thoughts, it cannot concentrate on God. Without control of the mind, man cannot have peace, even for a moment. One who wishes to live a happy and peaceful life must exercise control over his senses. Man today has lost peace of mind because he has no control over his senses. As long as the mind is active, there can be no escape from sorrow. To the extent that the mind is under control, you can experience happiness. The mind of man is capable of extreme expansion, but because of the senses, the mind has attractions for a variety of objects and persons. When these objects fill the mind, its expansive nature gets reduced. It is only when the attraction for these objects are reduced that the mind can achieve expansion. In the journey to the divine, man has to reduce progressively his desires, which are the cause of his difficulties. It is true that man cannot exist without desires, but they should be within reasonable limits. There can be no happiness without control of desires. Desires are never ending. They have no limits. If you keep on increasing your desires, your restlessness of mind increases, and one day you will become a madman. If you go on inflating the balloon, at some point it will burst. One should set limits on the pursuit of wealth, power, and position. Otherwise, he will end up in misery. Don't bring self-destruction by prompting your egos. As a person's wealth increases, his ego also increases. As ego increases, man's bad tendencies also increase. Your body is like a water bubble. It may pop at any minute. You must be ready to die at any minute. Don't postpone your spiritual disciplines, thinking you're going to live a long time. Human existence requires that every moment should be lived with actions taken because of a pure and sacred heart. Man has to realize human birth is not merely to enjoy worldly pleasures, but to realize the truth, the purity and everlasting nature of the love of God.
Yeah.
the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see.
My life is blessed. I know and love Sai Baba. Some say love is like this or love is like that, but love of God is a genuine caring for others, a spontaneous outpouring from the heart. It is the ultimate wisdom which binds and sustains the whole of creation. In essence, love is a mysterious force which infuses everything. It permeates the whole creation, transcending rational thought or feeling, unifying the whole cosmos, creating unity and diversity. Because of my love for Sai Baba, I know the truth, that there is really only one reason for me existing, and that is to realize my divinity and learn to express it for all to see. Jesus Christ said, "Know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Sai Baba is in my heart. He is the subtle truth of my being. But even more than that, I know He is in the hearts of all people. We must come to realize that God is the resident of each and every heart. My love for Sai Baba inspires in me the will to be a better person, to treat others equally, and to try to see the unity of life. His teachings are reflected on my mind because of my wish to draw nearer and nearer to Him. I want his words to be written on my heart. The more I think of him, the more I feel peace within myself, a peace that transcends all understanding. He is enchanting, unique, and beautiful. I want to be with him, to know him, to be in his presence always. I feel my sins washed away as I see him in my heart. His holiness merges with me and glorifies me. I can only feel love and see love as I feel him in my heart. Oh, how I love him. Please, Lord, stay with me. Don't ever leave me. I want to taste his sweetness, see his glory, feel his presence, and hear his truth. I want to be near and dear. I want to honor him and glorify him. I know his grace extends itself into my life. I know his love grows in me daily. I know the truth that Sai Baba is in my heart to stay, and he will never go away. Whatever events shape my future are nothing but shadows and clouds. They are lost in time, but the love for my Baba shall never die.